My name is Serena Whitlock. I am 35 years old. And 3 weeks ago, I discovered something about the man I believed was my husband that destroyed 7 years of my life. His name was Adrian Vale. He was 33. We had been together for 9 years, total. Married for 7? Or at least, that was what I thought. 3 weeks ago, I was helping Adrian's mother, Dorothy, move into her new apartment. She had downsized after her husband passed away the year before. And she asked me to help clear out the attic, because Adrian was supposedly buried in work that weekend. So I went alone. Dorothy's old house smelled like cedar, dust, and memories no one wanted to touch. Every box felt like it belonged to a different version of the family. Christmas lights tangled around old ornaments. Baby blankets folded in yellowing tissue paper. Framed school photos, wrapped in newspaper. Then I found the trunk. It was pushed behind a stack of holiday decorations. Half hidden, under a faded quilt. Dark wood. Heavy brass latch. The kind of thing people do not forget, accidentally. Inside was a wedding album. White leather. Gold trim. Expensive. Carefully preserved. At first, I thought it was Dorothy's wedding album. I almost smiled, expecting to see her younger face, her late husband beside her. Some soft memory from before grief had rearranged the house, but when I opened it, I saw Adrian, younger. Yes. Nervous. Yes. But unmistakably Adrian, standing at the altar, in a black suit beside a woman in a white dress. Her name was Grace. I knew about Grace. Adrian had told me about her early in our relationship. He said they were young and foolish. Said they got engaged too fast. Fought constantly. And broke it off before the wedding. He made it sound sad. But clean. A mistake from before me. But these were not engagement photos. This was a full wedding. Church ceremony. Reception. Cake cutting. First dance. Honeymoon photos in what looked like the Caribbean. There was even a close-up of their hands. Rings, shining under sunlight. Grace laughing like she had no idea she was standing beside a man who would one day erase her from his story. My stomach turned cold. I took the album home. Then I started digging. It did not take long to find Grace online. She lived 3 states away. Remarried. 2 kids. Smiling in photos. Like someone who had fought hard to be peaceful. I messaged her carefully. Too carefully. I said I was trying to understand Adrian's past, and asked if she would be willing to answer something personal. Her reply came the next morning. Adrian and I got married young. Biggest mistake of my life? He disappeared one day after a fight, and left a note, saying he needed to find himself. He never signed the divorce papers I sent. I had to wait 5 years to get it dissolved for abandonment. 5 years. Adrian and I had our wedding 4 years after he left her, which meant, when he stood across from me, held my hands, and promised me forever. He was still legally tied to another woman. I sat at my kitchen table with the album open in front of me, until the afternoon light turned gray. Every anniversary photo on our wall suddenly looked staged. Every tax return, every insurance form, every time he called me his wife. Ali. When Adrian came home from his trip, I had the album sitting on the coffee table. He walked in smiling, dragging his suitcase behind him, already talking about how exhausting the weekend had been. Then he saw it. His face went white, note pale, white. He stumbled back and grabbed the doorframe. Where did you get that? He whispered. Your mother's attic. I said, same place you hid it. Apparently, he stared at the album like it was alive. It's not what it looks like. I almost laughed. It's a wedding album. Adrian. Your wedding album to Grace. His jaw tightened. That was Annulled. I told you about it. No. I said quietly. You told me you never married her. He swallowed. I opened the album to the page, where he and Grace were cutting the cake. Grace says differently. His eyes snapped to mine. You talked to her? Yes. The silence between us changed. Before that moment, He had been afraid of the album. Now he was afraid of what I knew. According to Grace, I said, "You never signed the divorce papers." She had to wait 5 years. Adrian's mouth opened, then closed. "That's not, Serena. Listen to me." "No. You listen. According to the dates, you were still legally married to Grace when you married me." That was when the panic crossed his face. Not guilt. Panic. "You can't tell anyone about this," he said, voice shaking. "We can fix it. We'll just get married again, quietly. No one has to know." "No one has to know," I repeated. "Adrian, our entire marriage is a lie." He switched tactics fast. "You had no right to go through my mother's things. Your mother asked me to help her move. That was private. We were supposed to be married. There shouldn't be secrets like this." The next few hours were brutal. First came tears. He said he was young and scared. Said he loved me too much to risk losing me. Said the paperwork was confusing. Said Grace had always been dramatic. Then came anger. "You're acting like I cheated on you. You married me while already married to someone else." That was a technicality. A felony is not a technicality. His face hardened. "I chose you. Isn't that what matters?" I stared at the man I had trusted with my home, my future, my name. "You chose me with a lie." He looked away, and that was the first time I understood the truth. Adrian was not sorry he had done it. He was sorry I had found proof. For 3 days, he stayed with his older sister Mallory. During that time, I did the only reasonable thing left. I called a lawyer, not a divorce lawyer. Because apparently, I might not even be divorced from anyone. I explained everything: the wedding album, Grace's messages, the timeline, the 7 years of documents signed as husband and wife. The lawyer went quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "In 30 years, this is a first." That was not comforting. He explained that bigamy in our state could mean criminal charges. The innocent partner could sue for damages, taxes, insurance, benefits, property documents. Everything we signed as a married couple might be legally contaminated. While I was trying to protect myself, Adrian was rewriting the story. Dorothy called me crying. She said she had no idea the album was still in her attic. She thought Adrian had handled the divorce years ago. I believed her. Dorothy was devastated. Mallory was not. She called me the next night and said, "Can't you just let this go? He loves you." "Why does it matter what happened before?" "It matters because he lied to me for 7 years. You're making this bigger than it is." "Mallory, our marriage may not legally exist." She sighed like I was being inconvenient. "Just marry him again and move on." With someone who lied to my face every day. Then came Adrian's messages, hundreds of them. "I love you. You're ruining my life. If you ever loved me, you'll keep quiet. You're being cruel. I gave you the best years of my life." I answered once. "You gave me 7 years of lies. Do not contact me again unless lawyers are present." That was when Adrian stopped begging and started threatening. 3 days later, Adrian showed up at my office. I work as a senior project manager for an engineering firm. Most days are quiet deadlines, meetings, spreadsheets, and construction schedules. That afternoon, reception called. My extension, Serena. "Your husband is here. He says it's an emergency." I almost laughed at the word husband. I walked into the lobby anyway. There he stood, wearing the navy jacket I bought him for what I thought had been our 5th wedding anniversary. In one hand he carried a cardboard box filled with a few of my belongings from the house. When he saw me, he deliberately raised his voice. "You can't just throw away 7 years." Every head in the lobby turned. "This isn't the place." "Adrian, you won't answer my calls. I told you to speak through lawyers. You're overreacting." I refused to argue in front of my coworkers. So I led him outside into the parking lot. The moment the doors closed behind us, he shoved a large manila envelope into my hands. I fixed it. I looked inside. Fresh divorce paperwork from Grace. Dated only 6 months earlier. He smiled. Hopefully. See, everything's solved. We'll just get remarried. We can backdate a few documents. Nobody has to know. I slowly closed the envelope. You're asking me to commit fraud. No. We're correcting a mistake. A mistake. My voice stayed calm. You spent 7 years pretending we had a legal marriage? I didn't think it mattered anymore. You didn't think I'd ever find out? His jaw tightened. Why are you making this so difficult? Because the solution to 7 years of deception isn't another lie. His expression changed instantly. The pleading disappeared. So that's it, he snapped. You're going to destroy everything. I didn't destroy anything. You're ruining my life over paperwork. No. Adrian. I trusted you. You trusted me enough to make me an unwitting participant in fraud. His breathing became heavier. Fine. His voice turned cold. If you're going to act like this, I want half the house. I blinked. The house I bought 2 years before we even met. I supported you. With lies. I deserve something. You're demanding property from a marriage you're insisting never legally existed. His face flushed deep red. You think you're smarter than everyone. I think actions have consequences. He took 1 step closer. I'll tell everyone you're abusive. I looked directly into his eyes. I have your wedding album. Silence. I have Grace's messages. Another silence. I have 7 years of legal documents signed under false pretenses. His confidence cracked. You really want to tell that story? For a second, I almost saw regret. Then he threw the cardboard box onto the pavement. Photographs, books, and framed memories scattered across the asphalt. You're a monster. No. I made one mistake. One mistake that lasted 7 years. I hope you spend the rest of your life alone. He stormed toward his car. Halfway there, he stopped beside mine. Before I could react, I heard metal scrape against metal. The sound echoed across the parking lot. He dragged his keys down the entire side of my car. Then he drove away. He had forgotten something. Our office parking lot had security cameras covering every angle. That evening I filed a police report. The footage was crystal clear. While the vandalism investigation moved forward, my attorney contacted the district attorney's office regarding everything else. The legal consequences came much faster than Adrian expected. Investigators discovered he had been claiming marital tax benefits based on our invalid marriage. He had received insurance coverage and employment benefits using documents that should never have existed. The case expanded beyond bigamy, false filings, insurance fraud, financial misrepresentation. His attorney eventually reached out with an offer. If I refused to cooperate, Adrian would pay me a substantial settlement. My lawyer laughed. My client is the victim. He replied. She's not selling her silence. Grace became involved as well. She had spent years believing that chapter of her life was finally over. During depositions, she learned Adrian had continued using their unresolved marriage in ways she never imagined. Old joint financial accounts, outstanding debts, documents carrying both of their names long after he had disappeared. She filed her own civil action. She asked whether I wanted to join. I thanked her, but declined. I did not want revenge. I wanted peace. Eventually, Adrian accepted a plea agreement that reduced several charges. He received probation, community service, substantial financial penalties, mandatory restitution, and public disciplinary findings that ultimately cost him his career. Part of the agreement required written apologies. His letter to me was 3 pages long. Almost every paragraph blamed someone else. Grace, his parents, his lawyers, me. The final paragraph read, I hope you're happy destroying my life over a piece of paper. I loved you more than anything. And you threw everything away because of your principles. I folded the letter once. Then I placed it back into the envelope without reading it again. Because it had never been about a piece of paper. It had been about every lie told after that paper was signed. Every anniversary, every promise, every morning I believed I was waking up beside an honest man. Therapy helped, time helped even more. Dorothy apologized to me countless times. Though none of this had been her fault. We still exchange Christmas cards every year. Grace eventually sent me one message, "Thank you." Knowing the truth finally gave me closure. That meant more than she probably realized. Today, I trust more carefully. I verify more carefully. And I never confuse love with blind faith. If someone asks you to ignore evidence because love should be enough, I remember this. Love does not require deception. Trust does not survive secrets. And protecting someone's lies will never save your future. Adrian often tells people that I ruined his life. The truth is much simpler. He ruined it the day he chose dishonesty over integrity. I merely refused to become the person who helped him hide it.